There is a silent, heavy space between the dreams you keep imagining and the moment they actually become real. Most people believe that if they see something clearly enough, it will eventually happen. So they sit, they visualize, they picture the life they want in detail. But nothing moves, and over time, something shifts. The dream doesn't feel closer. It starts to feel fragile. In Japan, they call this space ma. It is the point where thinking stops turning into reality. Most people try to fill this space with more thinking, more visualization, or a better plan. But ma is not meant to be understood. It is meant to be crossed, because the longer you stay in it, the less natural action becomes, until you reach a point where nothing is blocking you, but nothing in you moves anymore. Chapter 1. The Professional Spectator. Ren lived in a world of perfect outcomes. He didn't just have goals, he had visions so vivid he could already taste the success. He spent his mornings on a cushion, eyes closed, imagining a life of impact. In his mind, he was already there. But when he opened his eyes, the room was still cold, the desk still empty, and his hands were still resting in his lap. Ren didn't realize that he had become a spectator in his own head. He was watching a life he wasn't actually living. It wasn't a lack of ambition. For Ren, the first step felt like a downgrade. Starting meant trading the perfect version in his mind for something clumsy, slow, and incomplete. So he stayed, inside a comfortable maybe, instead of stepping into a messy now. Chapter 2. The Lie of the Mind. We've been told that manifestation is a mental act, that if you see something clearly enough, it will eventually come to you. But the word manifest does not come from the mind. It comes from the Latin word manus, the hand. To manifest is not to imagine something. It is to make something handheld, something real, something physical, something that exists outside your thoughts. And that is where most people disconnect. Because you are not here as a thought. You are here in a body. And that body is the only thing that can turn what you see into something that exists. But this is where most people misunderstand it. The vision is not the problem. The vision is necessary. It gives direction. It gives focus. It tells your system what to move toward. Without it, there is no target. But a vision is not movement. And if it is not used as fuel, it becomes a replacement. When you spend your time visualizing without moving, your brain still reacts. It sees the result. It feels the outcome. And it rewards you for something that hasn't happened. You are stealing the dopamine of the finish line before you've even reached the start. And over time, something shifts. The vision no longer pushes you forward. It starts to hold you in place. That is the break. Chapter 3. The 7 Breaths. In the logic of the samurai, a decision must be made within 7 breaths. Anything beyond that is hesitation, and hesitation accumulates. Ren had spent thousands of breaths thinking about a single move. He thought he was being careful, but he was repeating a pattern. Every breath without action made the next one harder. The task didn't become more difficult, but the idea of it became heavier, because the longer something stays in your head, the more distance you create between yourself and the act. At some point, you are no longer avoiding the task. You are avoiding the weight of having delayed it. Chapter 4. The Architecture of the Void. What was missing for Ren wasn't a better vision. It was a structure that could hold him when the feeling disappeared. Because feeling always disappears. Motivation fades, clarity shifts, emotion changes. If everything depends on that, everything stops. In Japanese practice, there is kata, a form, a repeated movement. The student doesn't wait to understand it. They repeat it until the movement exists without needing to feel right. That is what most people are missing. Not more clarity, not more intention, but something that continues when they don't. Because action is easy as long as it carries itself. The moment it doesn't, you need something else. If that is missing, you stop. Chapter 5. The Rot of Potential. There is a specific tension that builds over time, not from failure, but from not acting. Ren began to feel it. What once felt exciting became heavy. His plans weren't possibilities anymore, they were reminders. Every unfinished idea pointed back at him, not as inspiration, but as evidence. He looked at his hands and felt distance. They were capable, but they weren't involved. He was describing a life he refused to enter, and over time, something shifted. The version in his mind felt more real than the one actually there. That is the cost. You don't just delay your life, you disconnect from it. Chapter 6. The Ritual of the Hand. One evening, Ren stopped visualizing. He didn't wait for clarity. He just looked at his hands and realized something simple. They were the only part of him that could change anything. Not his thoughts, not his intentions, his hands. He began to act before the second guessing could start. Not perfectly, but physically. He filled the space of Ma with movement before it could fill with hesitation. The goal was no longer to feel ready. It was to make contact, to take something from his mind and bring it into the world. Because once something exists, even imperfectly, everything changes. It is no longer an idea. It is something real. Chapter 7. What this really means. Once Ren shifted his focus from his mind to his actions, something changed, not because the work became easier, but because the negotiation ended. He stopped asking why he wasn't moving and started asking what he was actually doing, because there are many ways to avoid your life, but they all happen in that space between thought and action. If that space stays empty, your life stays theoretical, not because you are the problem, but because nothing connects what you want to what actually happens. Manifestation is not a feeling. It is the moment something leaves your head and enters reality. Discipline is not what you do. It is what you no longer negotiate. And once you see that, your dreams are no longer something you imagine. They are something you either build or something that never becomes real. And the longer you wait, the more distance you create between what you want and what you are actually willing to touch.